Welcome to Mick and the Psychic, where we leave no stone unturned as we explore all things outside the apparent physical realm.
There is no intent to teach or make you believe or disbelieve anything. It is just a safe space to listen and explore with us.
So for this next episode, you have permission to open your heart and mind as you join myself and Xavier on this deep dive into the unknown.
Humanity is living in peace. There is no more lack, no more pain, no more suffering. They say by 2035, it will be very evident that there's been a huge shift of consciousness.
Today we have international author, healer and spiritual teacher and speaker, Charmian Redwood. Charmian has written 3 books, Coming Home to Lemuria, which is also her website, which is cool, A New Earth Rising, and At Mother Mary's Table. She created a method of using hypnosis to help people to experience their own soul, to find soul purpose, and to release blocks and trauma. Interestingly, she had a near-death experience where she says she went into oneness and met her divine self and master Jesus. So we look forward to hearing about this and so much more. Welcome, Charmian, to the show.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
And we're all look a bit matchy today in our shades of blue for those who are watching.
Absolutely. We got the memo, yeah, and I got the butterflies.
Beautiful.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
I mean, my first question is definitely going to have to be around what on earth happened with your near-death experience. Not everybody has one of those any day, let alone.
No, and it just literally woke me up overnight. I was 29. Wow. So if you know about astrology, I was in my first Saturn return where you get whacked on the head by a 2x4 if you're not waking up.
Whack. Yep.
So I'd given birth to twins. And everything that could go wrong with the birth did go wrong. In every level, every department was just one big nightmare. Wow. So the bottom line was I ended up with blood poisoning. So I was rushed back to the hospital. They were 10 days old. And the first night that I was in the hospital, I just experienced myself floating out of the body, looking down at the body in the bed, and nothing of me was in that body. Everything of me was the one that was looking at the body. So that was surprise number 1. So then I just floated away, drifted away. There was no fear at all anywhere in this process. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew there was peace and love and angels there. Oh, so I was floating away. And then the next minute, I'm in this golden light. And everything that you could ever want was there in the golden light. Love, it was like being wrapped up in just total love. And as soon as I got there, I knew this is home. This is where I belong. This is where I came from. This is where I want to be. And everything down there is just a story that I'm making up, but it's not who I am. It's not real. It's just a story.
Wow.
So I'm floating about all blissed out. And then Master Jesus is standing in front of me. And I knew nothing about, I was not a Christian. I wasn't religious. I'd never had any kind of spiritual experience from religion. It was, I was raised Methodist, and I loved the singing and I loved the stories about Jesus, but I never had anything like a spiritual experience. So he's standing in front of me and I'm like, I'm not one of yours. Are you sure you want to talk to me?
I can so relate to this. This is funny.
Christian, I'm not a Christian, you know. So he just kept looking at me with these eyes, and it was just complete acceptance, unconditional love, no judgment. Whatever I had done, I might have been regretting or worrying about it. He was like, don't even think about it. So we had this really beautiful conversation telepathically. And he said, because your heart is pure, if you want to, you can stay with us in the golden light. So they weren't telling me I had to go back, which happens to most people.
Yes.
They said, we are asking you to go back. because the world needs your love, your wisdom, and your healing. So I said, and I was only 29. I was a school teacher, really normal person, playing darts in the pub every night, not meditating and being spiritual and all that. That's what we do in England. We play darts in the pub a
And
lot.
smoke them.
We smoked them, did you say, Xavier?
Smoke darts.
You're such a bogan. Anyway, please continue.
And so I said, how can I go back down there, which seemed a very long way away, knowing that this is where I belong with you. So his heart was this blazing blue star. It makes me cry just thinking about it. And he took a piece of his star and he put it in my heart.
Oh my goodness.
And what an honor. He said, now you know that I am always with you. So
many
the next minute I'm back in that hospital room, floating over that body in the bed, which is not me, knowing that if I get back into that, I will suffer again. If I stay out here with them, I will never suffer again. But I didn't come down to share my love, my wisdom, and my healing with the world. I'm sorry. I came back because I'd just given birth to 10-day-old twins, and there was no way. I was the one that invited them. Their father was not very keen, and I was the one that invited them. I wasn't expecting two.
No.
two turned up. Well, the thing was, I always say is, the boy, my son, came in while the door was open, because after that experience, there's no way I would have had more children, because the birth was so horrendous. There's no way.
The opportunity, and
so while the door was open, he slipped in. So I have Gemini twins, a boy and a girl, which is the symbol for Gemini, boy and girl. Exactly. And they're both very, very strong souls. They're very powerful souls. So I came back into that body and woke up next morning, and everything I had done with my life, I was a career school teacher. I mean, not a career, I wasn't interested in the career. I just loved the children. I taught 4- and 5-year-olds, and they're just so adorable. They just make you laugh all the time. So all of that, the degree, the mortgage, buying a house, completely out the window, completely meaningless. There was no me, my plan, my life, my goal anymore. Like the personality, the ego was just not there. And so I knew that there is a plan for this earth, a divine plan for this earth. I didn't know what it was then. I do now. I didn't know then. I just said, wherever you need me to be, let me know and I will go. So very shortly I got divorced, because it was not a good scenario having twins with somebody who doesn't want babies. Basically, I was raising my babies, and that was not.
I'm glad you came back for them, so they weren't stuck with him then.
Well, that's right. There was actually, that I shouldn't say this, but there was no way I was leaving my babies with him.
Yeah,
that's okay. We won't tell anyone.
Thank you. Now that I do hypnosis, which is a very useful tool, now I know the karma and why we had to have children together, he and I.
Interesting.
Because he had a debt to the children, and I had offered to come in and be the stand between, to kind of protect them.
Right, yep.
It was not fun, it was not nice, but I understand it now. So I came back in. So the first thing was that wherever you need me to be, let me know and I will go. So 35 years, I think I've lived in 100 places. I've moved. And the other thing I said was, I want a way to take people to have this experience, which totally changed my life. Without having to go through all the drama.
Nearly dying.
Killing them.
The nearly dying part. Let's skip that. So
how gracious of you.
Thank you. I thought so. I'll get a lot of merit points for that when I go back again. Yeah. So I developed this way of using hypnosis to take people to experience the golden light, their divine essence, have a conversation with the part of you that is always in the source. Only a bit of us comes down into the physical
Great
form.
confirmation. Thank you.
30, 40%. As we evolve spiritually, it's more. In, you know, people who are relatively unevolved, some of them seem like it might be 5%.
Oh my gosh, I'm writing a book at the moment, and I'm explaining this is from my perspective, and it's really nice to hear somebody else that's seen as much as you agree
from a different angle.
Doesn't mean we're right, but it's still like very interesting confirmation. So I appreciate it.
No, it does mean we're right. Let's just agree that we're right.
Okay, we're right.
I won't get in the way.
Yeah. So then I found myself just traveling a lot, and it ended up my daughter came with me, and my son wanted to go live with his dad because he wanted to do man's things. Yeah. So I ended up with one, and we traveled everywhere. We lived in teepees in the south of France and went to Tunisia. We went all over England. Wow. And I was trying to find a way to get back home, to get back to that place. And it took me about 10 years. And then over that time, I had become much more developed at talking and connecting to the other planes. And that became my life's work. So now I call myself an intergalactic travel agent. So
that is fantastic.
We love interviewing experts from different fields about all things outside the apparent physical realm.
And the one constant is these phenomena are transmitted through energy.
So we sought out and teamed up with Subtle Energy Science
to bring you, our listeners,
energetic encoded technology you can use on your phone, laptop, computer, or tablet,
turning your device into a powerful personal quantum energy tool. Now, we're not the creators, or are we qualified enough to explain it at all, but there is a mind-blowing number of scientific studies available on their website.
We get to try their range ourselves so we can give an honest review. And until the end of April, we've got 20% off The Mystic with promo code MATP-861.
And I love using The Mystic. I love it more than anything else. And I notice it really helps if you want to open up your heart or tune in to a deeper awareness.
Now back to the show.
In the sessions that I do, I take people back to the stars, back to the dimensions, the angelic plane, all the different places that we've come from. And also I teach channeling online in my Zoom classes. So there we all go together. We journey together to Sirius, to ancient civilizations, and we all channel as we're doing it. So we make a story together. Usually when people teach psychic development or channeling, you do the meditation and then you share afterwards, right? But the way I do it, we all share. So I say, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? Everybody.
Collaborate.
Yeah, so we make the story together, and then we may all go to the place that one person has seen. So basically, we go back a lot. This is the series I'm doing right now. It's about ancient Egypt, called The Secrets of Egypt. And basically, it's us. We are the ones who built all these incredible, the pyramids, the Sphinx. We are the ones. But at that time, there were still portals to the stars. So we did not do them by carting great big chunks of stone around. The pyramids were actually poured from the top. It's like we just visioned, and we used toning and sound, and we just created them. We manifested them. That was in the beginning. And then
was that only a specific people that could do that though? Otherwise, wouldn't we see more of this stuff in different shapes and things around the world? It was
basically there are, the Incas, this is all in my book. When the Incas discovered the temples at Machu Picchu and in South America, they said they were already there. The temples were already there because they were Lemurian temples. So we've been seeding this planet over and over. Stonehenge was built using extraterrestrial help because it's a very precise calendar for the evolution of the Earth. All of the portals are embedded into the dial. It's like a time dial, Stonehenge.
So is that like the Earth cycles, is it? Like the different cycles that the Earth goes through over those
yes, that's right.
hundreds of
Yes,
thousands of years and stuff like that. Does
yes,
that pick up on that?
Yes, the activations for each new cycle are embodied into Stonehenge. So it's like a dial, and as it turns, then certain frequencies get activated. So that's why so many people have to visit, why we have to be always visiting these power centers like Giza, Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, because we are the ones who put those timelines in there. They're all downloaded with timelines. So we go there, we activate them, they activate us. So it's a double thing.
I was going to say, is that why we're drawn to go to certain places?
Because we actually literally light codes in our DNA get activated when we go back to these portals. So, and then we take the energy out and we seed it into the crystal grids of the earth. So that's why we're all traveling and why we're feeling drawn to go back to these power centers.
That's not like a bucket list to go visit all the main chakras. Like I feel like I need to go there, but I'm not allowed to travel everywhere yet. So
and that was the last class that the previous class I did was visiting the 7 earth chakras. And the nearest one to you is Ayers Rock. That's
of course, yes, that's my first one I want to go to.
Yeah, that's my solar plexus.
Yes,
that's
beautiful.
the earth, not my solar plexus.
Yeah,
well, if you are oneness,
we're all exactly. Doesn't matter.
I was going to say, I was speaking as Gaia then. I was my alter ego.
You were tuned into the other part of you. That's fine. That's fine. You can say that.
Yes,
well, you lost your ego, so you might as well take that ego.
It's just so fun. It's fun being on this planet when we stop taking it all so seriously, you know, and stop watching all the negative stuff. We just need to keep building the positive. So I went to live in Hawaii 2006. I arrived there on 666, which numerology is supposed to be the number of the beast, but it was a good day for me because I ended up living in Hawaii, and I stayed there till 2012. And I had all of the clients that I had for hypnosis, which were actually all my friends, all felt like a whole family just came back there. And all the sessions I was doing was going back to Lemuria. And at the time, I knew nothing about Lemuria. I knew I was one, but because there's very little written or spoken about Lemuria, it's all Atlantis, it's not Lemuria. I didn't know anything about it. So then I did all these sessions and remembered being in this beautiful continent where it's all love and peace and harmony, and no sense of selfishness. There was not so much individuation as separate beings. We were like one community, one consciousness. We saw each other as a reflection of the one. And at that time, we could still manifest everything that we wanted just by directly bringing objects from the ethers, just by intention. And I feel that that's the next step in our evolution. So I realized I had all this information. So my guide said, write a book and publish it. So that's what I did. And then when the book went out, I started getting all these messages from people all over the world, emails saying, well, it doesn't feel much like what the earth is returning to love and everything's just falling apart and it's all going to be destroyed. So what can we do? So I asked my guides, what do I tell these people? What do I say? And they said, show them where we are going. So I invited people to do sessions going forward into the new earth where the shift has already happened.
Was this through hypnosis?
Yeah, through hypnosis.
Same sort of thing?
My first book was Past Life Regression. Second book was Progression, which you can because there's no time when you get out of this dimension. There is no time. You can go forward, back, up, down, any way you want to go. So I had no idea what was going to come out of the sessions, but everybody is about, I think 18, 19 people. They all had the same vision, that the earth is restored, humanity is living in peace, there is no more lack, no more pain, no more suffering. And when I ask when this is going to actually show up, they say by 2035, it will be very evident that there's been a huge shift of consciousness. And by 2070, it will be complete.
Now you're making me tear up.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And this is why we're all here, the Lemurians, the people who, because we are the old souls on this planet. The Lemurian was the first civilization, and it's all where the Pacific is now. So west coast of America.
I was going to ask, where was
Australia,
it?
Yeah, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, west coast of America, and all the Pacific Islands, India, Asia. That's why they have such a spiritual base in those countries. And the blue skin people, the rishis that were the original sacred holy people in India, they were the Lemurians because they had blue skin. The Lemurians had blue
One of my
So
lives had blue skin, but I never knew.
yeah, that's Lemuria, the beginning of Lemuria, and then they evolved to look more like the Hawaiians and like the island people look.
Well, it's under 10 degrees here in Melbourne, so I feel like I've got at least blue lips when I go outside. But I don't think that's a regression to a Lemurian time.
No,
So
it may not be.
I've got so many
I know,
questions,
my brain's
but
like,
can I just go to one? Okay, you mentioned when building like pyramids and ziggurats or whatever, these energy places, that it was portals to other places. Is it portals to other galaxies? And does that mean
other star systems? Yeah.
Okay, so as in physical other star systems, because it's interesting, we talk about dimensions and then we talk about our current dimension.
Well, you see, it's both, because on the stars, we don't live in 3D. On the stars, we start at the 5th dimension.
So it's still, is space, though, where you look at other galaxies, is it still part of space-time?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like we look and we see Jupiter and we see Venus, but if we went with a camera, we wouldn't see beings on the 3rd dimension.
Well,
because
Jupiter's all gas anyway, so nothing.
Well, but there are Jupiterian people.
It'd be an energy, not a physical.
That are vibrational. They're not physical. They're just vibration. So they're much more highly evolved than we are. But it's also us. It's not them.
I was going to say, but we can also have been them.
We are, and we're also being that simultaneously. It's very, in another dimension, we have all these different aspects of ourselves. I have a whole family on Venus, and that's my favorite hanging out place, because it's there. So it's all love, but Venus is all lovey-dovey. So that's my favorite family. So we have all of these consciousnesses on Sirius, on the Pleiades, in Andromeda, Venus, the planets in our solar system, that are simultaneously, we are existing on those frequencies the same time that we're hanging out, trying to get from 3D to 5D on this one.
Okay.
Because we're just go. Sorry, Michael.
So it's still individuals on these other planets.
Absolutely, individual consciousnesses. This is what I do all the time in my Zoom classes and my groups. We go to the stars and we meet with the star beings. And actually, I should say I have a YouTube channel, and I post a lot of my videos on there, and it's all going and receiving upgrades. Everything we do is to receive recalibrations for this physical vehicle that we are inhabiting now, that is literally morphing. our physical body is morphing. I'm sure you've heard this a million times, from a carbon-based structure, which we've been living in 3D, to a crystal-based structure, which is going to hold our own 5D energy body. So our physical form, literally to the cellular level, is having to transform. Because if we brought all of our fifth dimensional body into the three-dimensional vessel, we would blow the circuit. It's like running 2000 volts through a 200 volt electricity circuit. It would go bang.
For sure, don't do that. Yeah.
Don't do that.
So does that mean for all things on this earth
Absolutely.
is because like kind of innate as well as like living things, all of those things,
everything.
like, is it like evolution, evolving to a crystallite structure?
Well, the thing is that a lot of beings, yes, everything is, but a lot of beings on this earth, and this is something that people really find hard to take, are way more evolved than we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we came together from the stars, the whales, the dolphins, cats, dogs, elephants. They're hanging out waiting for us to get with the program. This is in my Lemuria book, that we came from Sirius. That each one of us has like a star that we feel most connected to, and mine is Sirius. It's where the Christ light is being seeded from. So the Christ flame, Christ consciousness is being seeded from Sirius. So when we were planning all this a million years out of time ago, because when you're in that dimension, there is no time, it was always in the plan that we were going to start this Earth colony at a very high consciousness. And then we deliberately chose to shut ourselves down, to dumb ourselves down in what is known as the fall. And then we would go through all this evolution of suffering and pain and martyrdom and all the rest of it. And I asked, why on earth would we do that? Why would we choose to leave paradise and enter this dark tunnel? And the answer was that as you evolve as a soul, you do it much more quickly when you overcome adversity.
Right.
Because if you're
it's too easy
about in La La Land and everything's all light and fluffy, you don't grow very fast. But if you are constantly coming back again and again and getting hammered, it's like you go through the fire, you go through and you get turned into gold. So it's a way of turning dross into gold. So we've spent all these thousands of years going through unbelievable suffering. But on 2/22/22, which was only a year ago, that we shifted out of that whole cycle of evolution where we grow by taking on the shadow. And we've now stepped into the new earth frequency, different cycle, where now we are living from our light, and we are meant to be living in the joy and in happiness, not dealing with the shadow anymore. So it's time to just put that aside, just put the past away. Don't even go there, don't visit there. Just think, what is my passion? What is my joy? And go do it, because all of the frequencies are there to support you. So let me go back to my Sirius story. I digressed.
I have so many questions coming and going.
I know. So when we were all hanging out in Sirius and we made this plan to bring Christ consciousness to the earth, which is what's happening now, the whales, the dolphins, the dogs, the cats said, we want to come, we want to help. All of the big cats, the lions, they're all from Sirius, dolphins, whales, and dogs. That's why we have cats and dogs as our pets, because they're literally holding the higher vibration. So the deal was that we would all come together, some of us as humans, some of us as whales, dolphins, cats, dogs, And we were going to fall asleep as humans and forget that we are divine beings. Those animals that came with us never have. They know who we are and they know who they are. And the agreement was that they are holding our light codes until we wake up and get with the program. You see, we are meant to be the stewards of this earth. You only need to look for 10 seconds to realize we're not doing a very good job of it. So the whales have been holding that for us. They have been the stewards of this earth. And then when we become fully conscious, then they be released. They don't need to be here anymore. So that's why the whales and the dolphins for the last 30 years have been calling people to either swim with them, go on a whale watching trip. I've just been twice to Tahiti, which I would definitely recommend to you, swimming with the humpback whales, where you go eye to eye with humpback whales. It's absolutely trippy. It's unbelievable. So now everything on this earth is guiding us. Everything that happens on this earth is part of the plan that is returning the earth to love. Now, some of it doesn't look like that. In fact, quite a lot of it doesn't look like that. But for some people, they need to experience the opposite of love, peace, harmony. They need to experience war, famine, slavery in order to really realize that's not what's important. So they have to go through all of this horrible stuff, you know, but you don't, we don't. There are a lot of different scenarios being played out on the earth. None of it is real. It's all stories. So it's very important for each one of us to choose, where do I want to put my energy? Which story do I want to dance with? So I'm very clear. I'm here to build the new earth, to create the new earth, not to participate in the old one, which is dying. It is falling away. The two earths are separating. And we have to make the choice, where do I want to put my focus?
So what happens to the people, because this gets asked all the time, what happens to the people who stay in the dark, choose to be a victim and focus on the shadow stuff?
Well, eventually they will just die in a normal way, but they won't come back.
Okay.
So there will not be any reincarnation on the third dimension.
There'll be another version of Earth. Like I've been shown there's different layers of Earth and
well, what's happening now is the old Earth is dropping away and the new Earth is being born, but the life will not continue because the old Earth will just disappear. There will not.
I was going to say, don't they just stay there and it's just a different
vibration? No, Gaia has said she's given us this grace period, but it's not indefinite. So basically, if you want to keep playing 3D, you will not be doing it on the Earth. There are other planets.
It's not like all your loved ones that aren't very shiny, you're just going to drop dead one day.
No, not at all, not at all. You see, when we shift with the new Earth, we won't be aging because we will become the immortals. When we bring all of our light essence into these new transformed bodies, we become the shining ones that the prophecies talk about. We are the radiant ones.
I always say I'm shiny because people ask me, you don't say I don't look my age. I said it's because I'm shiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah. So we are the new Earth. So it's very important, as soon as you get with the program and realize that we are the ambassadors of the new way. So we have to teach the people.
We want to help as many as we can.
Show the people. Absolutely. We are the role models. So everybody think about, what do you want to be role modeling? Love, peace, harmony, revenge, racial discrimination, religious discrimination. I was told maybe 20 years ago that there are two spirals of energy happening on the earth. There is an ascending spiral, which is lifting matter back to spirit. And that one's getting bigger because it's going up and it's a vortex. Over here, we have a descending spiral, which is all the old hierarchies, the power over. And look, it just gets smaller and smaller because there's nowhere for it to go. So the message that came with this, and I think it came from Mother Mary, I'm thinking about that, was everyone has to choose which spiral do I want to dance with. And I'm very clear, the old way, the old one's just falling apart all by itself, doesn't need any help from me. I am here to build the new earth. So that's what I preach, is follow your heart, follow your passion, do what brings you joy.
Speaking of preaching, I've got a question. I've got a question just because you're not, I'm making fun of the preaching bit, but you're not like kind of Christian background, but met Jesus on the other side. And so from your experience, and obviously you've kept up that, I guess, relationship and part of him in you. Yeah. So I won't say who is Jesus because that's probably too hard to answer. Maybe can you say what is Jesus?
Yes, he chose to come here.
Is Jesus misunderstood in the religions?
Yes, that's why they asked me to write the book. My third book is called At Mother Mary's Table.
Okay,
and it's on Amazon. And I published it myself on Amazon. And they wrote that because they are very unhappy at the message that the churches, the Catholic churches, the fundamentalist churches that are preaching hell and fire and punishment and eternal damnation. And so that's why they said, do this book from regression, from people who were actually with them. There is not one word about people burning for eternity. What loving God would condemn his children, their children, to burn for an eternity, maybe for 10 minutes on a Tuesday afternoon, but not for eternity. They are horrified. They are absolutely horrified at what is being done in their name, because Jesus never intended to set up a global religion with him at the top. He just wanted us all to create a love team, love one another, even as I have loved you. So I love Mother Mary and Jesus. They are my main guides, and they are not happy about what's being done in their name. So
they want different beings? Are they different?
Okay,
like when you're talking from,
Sorry, they came from Sirius too. All of the Christ family, the people who came with them, which was actually 24, not 12 disciples. There were 12 men and 12 women who got written out of the story.
Funny that does tend to happen. I apologize on behalf of my masculine fraternity.
I know. So it makes a 12. You see, when I go to the temples and the sacred chambers on the other stars, on the other planes, it's always a blueprint of 12, a 12-pointed star. So with Jesus, there are 2 of them. And then the center, the 13th, is the unifying point. So Jesus and Mary Magdalene, who are twin flames, they are at the center of a 24-pointed star.
I was just about to ask you that question about Mary Magdalene and Jesus being twin flames.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. They were twin flames at the time. He was like the focal point. He was and she supported his mission. But what happened on the time of the Mayan, the time shift, whatever that was called, in 2012, December 21st, 2012? What happened? The Maya, the time shift. What happened was that the female Christ grid was activated.
Right.
He activated the male Christ grid 2,000 years ago. Now the female grid is being activated. And that's why women are coming to the forefront. You know, usually my classes are 10 women and 1 man. That's generally
That's
so will there be a second coming, and will that be?
It's us. It's us.
Xavier?
It's all of us. It's not somebody, some great avatar coming back to save us all. No, it's us stepping up into who we are, stepping into Christ consciousness, every single one of us. That's the journey. That's the goal. And it's so easy. It's so attainable. It's not something that the religions have made. Oh, it's really hard and you've got to be so good and you can't have any sins, especially venal sins, cardinal sins. I mean, Jesus
in some of these
doesn't even talk about the sins. He doesn't only once where the woman, he said, go and sin no more. That's the only time I remember hearing the word sin in the New Testament, because they were all about, don't beat yourself up. You make mistakes. You learn, and then you don't do it again. So just don't be so hard on yourself. Love yourself was his message. Even as I have loved you, love yourself, love one another. Yeah, so it's all good news. It's all good news. It's not doom and gloom and repent now. You know, I was walking in Santa Monica in LA yesterday, and there was all these people saying, repent now, fear God, wrath is coming. And I'm going, no, it's not. Yeah, right. It's so we have to be very careful to filter what we allow into our energy field, because there are certain factions, there are other extraterrestrials who are not helping us, who would like to be in control of this planet.
Why do they do that? Sorry. Why do they do that?
Well, they're fighting for control, right? Because they want to use and enslave humanity. So a lot of the conspiracy information that we're all going to be. My friend went this last weekend to an ET conference in San Diego, and it was all about these extraterrestrials are going to come take over the earth, destroy the earth. Might as well give up now because there's no hope. Now that's what they want to see. There are 2 lots of extraterrestrials that have been playing a story on this planet, and they are responsible for the downfall, the destruction of Lemuria, of Atlantis, of Egypt, of Greece, because they want control. There is no way that they are going to get it. This is not up for questioning. They're just being allowed to play out the end of their story. And so when they are gone, then there will only be the light. This is what happened in Atlantis. There were 2 groups, the Atla Ra, who were the children of the One, which I know I had many incarnations as them. We served the One. We just were here to serve. That's all we wanted to do. And then this other group came in, who I call the Dark Robe Priesthood, but they're called the Sons of Belial. They wanted power over. So what they did was they infiltrated our councils, our temples, and they subverted some of the Atla Ra. And we had this enormous crystal grid, like crystals the size of a house, that went all around the continent of Atlantis, which is where the Atlantic Ocean is now. So east coast of America and the west coast of Europe, part of Atlantis. So we would run energy around this crystal grid, but we used it for flying machines, for healing, for generating heat, power, that kind of thing. Way more advanced technology than we have now. We had these flying machines that you just sat in it, and it would use your own electromagnetic energy. And we just thought where we wanted to go, and it would fly us there. So what happened when the Sons of Belial, they took over, they got control of the grid, and they kept running more and more and more power through it. And we said to them, if you keep doing that, you're going to blow the circuits, you're going to blow the system. Well, they didn't listen because they just wanted power. And that's what destroyed Atlantis. They ran too much power through these crystals, and everything caused earthquakes, and then everything sank. So then when we knew Atlantis was going down, many of us went to Egypt to start another civilization using that technology. And that's how we built the pyramids. It was all by mind. It wasn't by thousands of slaves and stuff like that.
So the Egyptians talk about the ancient ones before them, where they would talk about that they hadn't necessarily invented stuff. They had that information from the ancient ones before them. I know the Sumerians had Marduk and a whole lot of different gods that they would worship as well. You say that the people that had come from Sirius and the Lemurians had come through as physical 3D
eventually.
Were there ones that came across in like other forms to Earth to rule?
Well, a lot of animals
from the Earth. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, yes. Some of the people on this Earth are not extraterrestrial. Some of the people are the Earth people who evolved with the Earth. Yeah.
Yes.
But the Earth has been seeded many, many, many times from different star systems. So a lot of the animals are from the stars. Crystals, we brought the crystals from the Pleiades and brought them to the Earth with encoded with all the timelines for when things need to be activated, like when the next level is ready to be activated. We have programmed all these crystals. So those crystals that we used in Atlantis that were huge, when we realized that we were all going to be destroyed and we lost control of the grid, we actually teleported a lot of those crystals and we put them in Arkansas underneath the ground in what are now the crystal mines. So now those portals are being reactivated. And a lot of the work that I do is reactivating portals that we shut down when we knew that we were going to be destroyed, so they could not be misused.
Great. Yep.
For power for self.
So that's brought in from other places, like in seeding the Earth as well. That's come from other places. What about the beginning of those places? Like, did Syria have Syria? I'm sure Syria did. Did Sirius? Syria had a beginning for sure. We know that. Sirius, did that have a beginning? Does that have a similar story? Well, that's a star system.
No, it's like a star.
The center of that.
Yeah, I have no idea of the timeline, because when you get up to those dimensions, there is no time. So you just so when we go there, we always meet these really beautiful beings, and when you meet them, you're just knocked over by the love. You just want to like melt because you're just enfolded in so much love. It feels like visiting an elder brother, and they often call them, we are the younger brothers, and they call themselves the elder brothers and sisters. And they just have so much compassion because they're watching the story that we're doing here on Earth, and it's not a fun palace, it's a school. We're all in school.
Yep. And it's
like
high school, university, because we're not knowing why we're here. So it's harder. And
that was the plan.
This is like a huge question. So we come here to learn, and you said you said like sort of something about turning to gold, like learning and being done. Why? Like, why do we want to do that? Like, what's it do for us when the Earths and the human bodies and all that's done? What are we supposed to do when all that is done? What's the point of putting ourselves through? Like, some people go through horrible triggering things that I won't even mention now. But why?
Well, we are evolving, you see. When the Earth moves into the ascension, which it will be pretty soon, then our work here is done. I've actually seen it's not really a death, it's more a leaving. And it's like chronologically, I would be 125. So I'm only just over halfway.
Are you having a midlife crisis?
Yeah. And in this vision that I had, I'm in this room full of really people all wearing white. And the words that came in the vision were, they all made the shift. Everybody's wearing white. They're all singing, they're playing crystal bowls. And with my twin flame, we're holding hands. They're all making this beautiful toning and music. And we just leave the bodies, and the body combusts. It just burns up, and we just float out of it. And the reason that we felt we could leave, so we chose when we could leave, when we were ready to leave. And the reason was, and this always makes me cry, because the planet was safe for the children.
No.
So we didn't need to be here anymore. And we just went home, you see. So when we go through the ascension, we won't be in time. We won't be physically deteriorating. We'll be the immortals. And then we choose how long we're going to stay on this earth. And then we go back and create more worlds. We start again. We create more
That's
planets.
what, I was wondering,
more
why are we doing that? Why don't we just float around and feel amazing and not have to do that? Like,
well, that's what I mean. That's why the evolution, because everything on the soul level is constantly evolving. Angels evolve to archangels. Archangels evolve to Elohim. Everything is moving up through service. That's how we evolve, is through service. So as a soul, we are growing exponentially higher up the frequency chart of.
So then we can help others.
Always. Everything in this known and unknown universes evolves through service, and that's their motivation. So I'll tell you one thing I found interesting. One day I asked where I came from, and it wasn't serious. I was taken out through the middle star of Orion's belt into a parallel universe to this star that was just called the Blue Star. And they said, you don't have a name for it in your universe. And this star, these beings started at the fifth dimension. And it was such a high frequency, like every being was a Christed being. And at that time, which was 35 years ago, I had to go, if I wanted to go there, I had to go out through the belts and to them. But now, because Earth has evolved unbelievably, the frequency of the Earth has shifted. So now they're coming to us. So people are being born. In my sessions, when I do the work, a lot of people that come through my system, they also came from the Blue Star. And my friend's grandson, when he was 8, he drew a picture of the Blue Star, and he said, I came from the Blue Star.
Wow. That's freaky when that stuff happens.
I love that.
Wow. When it comes from a kid, it's just like,
these kids are amazing.
Okay, I don't know.
Well, these crystalline children of the rose who have been coming in for the last probably 12 years now, they came after the indigos. They are already masters that we are evolving into. They are our teachers. So we need to listen to them, and they are the future, and they're already there. You know, I have 3 of them. I have 3 little princesses, 1, 4, and 6. And my oldest one, she's 6. And we were walking to the beach from the parking lot, and she suddenly said, let's have a race, Nanny. So we start on the starting line, and she takes off like a rocket, and I kind of like this going behind. And she looks back, saw that I wasn't keeping up. So she came back, took my hand and said, let's hold hands, Nanny, and we'll win together.
Oh, that's so gorgeous.
Now, this is out of the mouths of babes and children. This is how they are. So when I see the new children, I'm filled with hope for this earth, because they will be our guides and our teachers.
And I think a lot of parents are being guided to nurture them in such a way.
Oh my God, it's so different.
My brother's taken And
Yeah.
my sister-in-law have taken my niece and nephew to Queensland, and they live there, and the way they're growing up, and that just sounds like them.
That's right.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, new schools, in fact, this is all in the book,
unschooling.
The New Earth Rising, unschooling. In the book, The New Earth Rising, it was like creating little villages. And we had the children and the old people were all part of the community. We grew our own food. We taught the children. And everything was based on sacred geometry. So like there was a blueprint for the gardens, for the houses. The houses were all certain shapes depending on the purpose that would be conducive to what you were going to do there. Like the teaching places were different to the healing places. And this is how it was in Lemuria and in Atlantis. We use sacred geometry for everything because it's like the language of the universe is sound, sacred geometry. So and color. So this is what the new centers, and they're just growing up all over the place. People are getting the call to go back to the earth, simplify, get out of the cities. This is happening in America big time. And when I asked what COVID was for, because when something big happens, I say, how's this helping the planet? It was because we needed to literally be stopped in our tracks because we were rushing off the cliff. And it was to make people go inside and say, what's really important? What really matters to me? And it's not the job. It's not the salary. It's the people. It's the place. It's your relationship to community. So what's happened in California, everybody's leaving LA and San Francisco, and they're moving out to the country, including me. I just left LA.
Oh, wow. There you go.
3 hours up along with everybody.
Well, no wonder you move around the world, and that's nothing for you, obviously, because you used to have to travel home via like Orion's belt. So, like going across the world, it's just like, it's not Orion's belt. I don't have to travel light speed. So, speaking of stopping and people having to go within, I am interested with what you offer with your hypnosis. Does this mean that like anyone can experience these journeys, or is it only people that
anybody,
Lemurians or what? Like
no. There's very, very few people that are not susceptible to hypnosis, and it's nothing to do with how old they are as a soul. It's people who are very, very left brain, very analytical, have difficulty letting go of the conscious mind. But 98% of people, they can, yes. If people are really struggling, then I will just channel a journey for them. But the way I do the normal sessions, it's interactive. So you see, what I want people to do is connect to their soul and get their own answers. I don't want to do readings for people. I mean, I do readings for people if they want it.
But not for
this experience,
But I prefer them. My number one modality is hypnosis, because when you experience wisdom from your own soul, you absolutely know that it's true. If I'm telling you, or your soul's telling me to tell you this,
which is what I do, and that's yours is much
fuller. It's just me telling you. No, it's all needed. It's all part of
people go where they need.
But I just like it. I like doing that.
That's beautiful. And is that enough? Like, so some people, when they experience that, is that enough for them knowing that they can do that again? Because I know, like you said, once you feel it, you're like, this is home, and that's right. Like, anyone saying, I just want to leave and go home? Like, your life? Like, do they just want to tap out?
Me? Can I come home now?
How did you do that? Like, not because you wanted to stay for your kids, but you've listened to the message that you need to just learn how to visit it in a meditative or hypnotic state.
That's right.
We're not uncovering a suicide cult here, are we?
Exactly. It's like,
I'm always saying, can I come home now? No, the thing is, what you have to do, you see, as you spend more and more time with your true self, your divine self, then it becomes part of your life, and your life changes. So my commitment to me is to make my life beautiful. So I want to stay here. I can't watch the news, because then I'm like, I don't want to be here with these people. How can they do that? How can they do that to an animal or to a child? It breaks my heart. So I don't allow myself. That's what I was going to talk about before. It's very important to have filters. There's a whole lot of garbage out there. You are the one that has the button. You put your finger on the button,
your vibration,
and turn it off.
Keep it high.
When you've been with a person or you've watched something, you have a radar. How do I feel after that experience? Do I feel uplifted, or do I think I might as well just go dig a hole, climb in it now and give up? But same with people. Some people just bring your energy right down. Don't hang out with them anymore. Or put walls up. There are certain people, even in our families, who are just so negative that I just keep them behind a wall. Because I'm finding, because I spend so much of my life, which I'm very blessed, flying around the other planes, doing sessions, doing all of my life is taking people to fly around the world. So I get to go too. Thank you very much. And what I've found,
frequent flyer points.
Yes. What I found is that I can feel the shift in me. I feel more peaceful, more connected. But what I'm finding, especially recently in the last 6 months, really hard to be around negative people. It makes me feel ill and I want to walk away. So I do. I try and weasel my way out of being with them and go, and then don't keep the contact up. Very important to choose what comes into your inner world.
And you can do it with love. You don't have to be a jerk about it.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. I don't say anything necessarily like you're being an asshole, and I don't.
Yeah, because then you're being an
asshole. Oh, sorry, I have to go now. I just remembered. So I do it the British way, we never confront.
Left the kettle on the stove. I must know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, it's just going to be more important as you make the choice. Which reality am I going to dance with? You have to shut down those old stories that just want to keep on going on and on and on about this person did this to me, and isn't this terrible, and isn't that like everything is woe and gloom. Well, there's no point. What's the point? We might as well just commit suicide and not be here. So we have like a not a duty, but a responsibility to the people that we've contracted with to be here for the new earth. So this was the shift that happened on 2/22/22 that I was started to talk about. Our contracts changed. So a lot of our lives up till then have been very difficult because we've been cleaning up our karma. So personally, I've had 3 marriages, which have all been an absolute nightmare because it was all past life stuff. So I don't beat myself up about people say, oh, you made bad choices. No, I didn't. I did what I had karmically contracted.
You had to learn from them.
Yes. Well, I had to complete them. It was mostly people who had enslaved me, especially in Atlantis, and I had not broken free in that lifetime. So I had to come back, marry them, leave them, and that broke the chain.
The hardest way is often the fastest way, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my relationships or marriages are getting shorter because
you're getting good at it.
I hope I'm done. I was married and I'm with my new husband, and I'm glad.
Very happy
because
the new contracts now since 2/22/22 are with people we're going to make the shift with.
Excellent.
Okay. Right.
Love that.
So that's why a lot of people have been moving. I just completely moved out of LA and moved 3 hours north to a really conscious community. Wonderful, lovely, lovely people around Big Sur. Have you heard of Big Sur? Esalen, that area. It's always been the center of the new consciousness. So that's why if a move is coming, can't do your job anymore. You just can't make yourself do it anymore. People are stuck in soul destroying jobs. It's like you can't make yourself do these things that are hurting your soul anymore. The clock has run out. So if you feel that you just got to leave your job, you got to move, you've got to leave a relationship, go do it. Because what you're making room for is much more in alignment with your soul. Change of occupation, change of partnership, change of location. So don't resist that.
Yes, stop resisting.
Just know that it's inviting you to something better, but first you got to make a space, and that's scary.
That's right. And it's trust. Trust is such a big deal, like, because not everyone has an easy time thinking, well, I can't leave my job because I need the money. How can I trust that, you know, as they say, that saying, the universe has my back? How do I know it'll be okay? Where am I supposed to go next in the meantime? Like, they don't.
Well, that's what I live on, is I call it radical trust.
Radical trust.
And I have learned to just ask, this is what I need, and this is when I need it by. And it's usually by midnight tomorrow. And it comes and I never know when or how, but it comes. It comes in random, really strange ways. They make sure that I get what I need.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've had goosebumps like 100 times. I just keep twitching the whole time. It's beautiful.
Well, there's nothing to worry about. This is the thing about when you experience your star self or your soul self or your angelic self, you know that it's real, and it gives you a different perspective on what's going on down here. It's like looking through the eyes of the eagle. You might still have the same stuff going on, but you don't get lost in it.
And
you learn to step back and watch and not get so dragged in.
And you're saying that we have, you know, like and I've seen the same, that we can have more versions of ourselves and lives, and in the same on Earth or in dimensions and planets, and doing different things. I know a few of mine. So when you take someone to go to speak to their, I would say, higher selves. So you're saying, what did you say? Their soul? Like
it's that divine essence, soul, higher self. It's all the same.
And that higher self would know, obviously, you're connecting with all the different versions of you. So would you get maybe possibly get some information on the other lives you have, and it's all coming back to that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The thing is that when you get plugged in to that level of consciousness, the idea is to get past the conscious mind, which thinks it knows everything and actually knows nothing, because only 10% of the brain is the conscious mind. So that means that 90% is the superconscious, which is our divine essence, and the subconscious, which is the programs. So once you get connected into that zone, you can go anywhere, you can ask anything, because you're connecting to the part of yourself that is always in the source, that never left.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always connected. So it knows everything about you, past, present, future, all of your incarnations. So that's why then the healing comes from within. Sorry.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I was going to say, in a way, does that make hypnosis a portal as well?
Absolutely. You see, that's why I chose hypnosis, because I used to do counseling, and it just takes forever, because the ego is really good at avoiding the issue. It will send you around in circles.
Mine's great at that, yeah.
And you just don't ever get anywhere. You can do years and years and years. I had one lady had done counseling every week for 7 years, not with me, with someone. And she just hadn't even touched her stuff, because she was doing this defense wall thing. And one session with me, and she totally fell apart, because she needed to, because she kept the lid on it.
She was ready for it, yeah.
She was ready for it. Now she's really a devotee. So this is the thing, is that hypnosis goes straight in to the best of us and the worst of us, and it changes it. So you don't go in and say, oh God, it's so awful that this happened. What I do with the trauma, we go in and we do a soul retrieval. So you don't have to remember all the gory details of every horrible thing that's ever happened. I used to do that and people were just crying and I said, okay, I need a different way. So what I do now is a soul retrieval where we go and find the wounded aspect that got split off. Because when you have a trauma, that part of you freezes and stays there, whether it's a baby in the crib, whether it's 3, 5, 21, whatever it is, it stays like locked in a time warp. So what we do, we go to the soul first, you bring back all of your golden essence into your body. We look at where it's blocked, and then we go into the blocked places and we retrieve the part of you that is still trapped in that wounded place. And we just bring them into the wholeness. So you reparent your own, like inner child, you reparent your own child and say, I'm really sorry that happened to you. It's not going to happen again because I'm here now. And we take them all into the oneness. That's why I start with the soul, because then you're bringing the blueprint of your healed self here, and all of the broken bits are brought in to the wholeness. So it's a really lovely, peaceful, very, very gentle process. And actually now I'm teaching it too. It's funny, about a year ago, I was doing a session for someone and she said, oh, you've got to start teaching this so people can carry it on after you've gone.
Yeah, it spreads.
And I'm like, am I going somewhere? Are you trying to tell me something?
No, you lived to 124, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. You're good.
So I have started. And actually one of my students lives near Perth in Australia.
Oh, great.
I have a little following in around Perth in Australia.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So that's also, it's all on my website, the classes I do, the trainings, the hypnosis training, and all the sessions, all different in them. And I also do specific activations like calling in the twin flame or connecting with different soul essences, star essences.
How are you guided with that? Are you guided from the person of what they're ready to call in, or like, is there?
They come and ready.
Like
that would be the activations is just me talking and I channel them. I receive.
Oh, okay. So you'll
everything
only
that
activate
I do,
something that you channel is
everything that I do as a reading or an activation is what I receive, I channel. But when I'm doing the hypnosis, then it's interactive.
Sure. Yeah.
But I still channel where I'm supposed to take them, or the next bit, where this person needs to
because
go.
then you know where they need to go, because they can't, because if they're not channeling that for themselves, they're not going to be sure what to do next. So.
Yeah, because everybody's different. Even though I have a basic outline for the process, we start with the soul, then we bring the soul, we go into a past life that will help you to understand who you are as a soul. That's what I ask for. And that can be either in the stars or on the earth. Then we bring the soul into the body, look at where it's blocked, go in, retrieve all those wounded parts. And then I say, now the soul's in the body, what do you want to do? How do you want to show up? So then we go in the future. Now that you're already reconnected to your essence, what's it going to look like? So we go to the future, either 1, 5, or 10 years, you can choose. And you see yourself living there, and especially you feel yourself. And everybody says how much happier, more confident, stronger, lighter they feel. Then we bring that future self back to now into the body and say, okay, show me the way. Because the future self,
that's cheating, because you just brought that feeling in, and then that happened because you brought that in. So which came first? Like this is
the part of you that's already done the walk. So it's not that you just got to launch yourself up into the unknown. We ask the future self to guide, to take charge of your life, to open the doors, because it knows the way. So it's really it's all very positive. And even the bad things that happen, we say, well, why did you choose that? And there's always a reason on a soul level. Everything that happens to you, nothing is about you being a victim. Everything that happens to you is something that you chose to learn from. So when we go into a past life, we go to a past life, and then we go through the death in that life, and we go to what happens when you die. You go back to the light, and then you meet with your elder council, your elder beings, and they help you to review that life.
Right.
There's nobody up there saying, look, you did that, you horrible person. You're the one that's watching the movie in the mirror, and you go, oh my God, did I really do that? I'm so sorry. So you know how this helps me is that when people do mean things to me, which they have done and they often do, I know that when they leave this life, there's nowhere that they can escape knowing, and they are always filled with remorse. So I just walk away. Okay, you're going to have to live with it. I'm glad I live in my head, not in yours.
Yeah.
And let it go. Just let everything go. Doesn't matter. So then you have a meeting with your guides and your soul family, and you planned a script for your next life.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Part of it is based on what you need to put right from past lives. So say you've done harm to a child, you may choose to come back as a child that has to experience that same kind of
So you
harm.
understand the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would say, okay, I'm going to be the child who's going to come and be my persecutor. So basically, there are victims, there are persecutors, but it's only roles.
So sometimes the persecutor that they agreed to be the persecutor.
They always have.
But then they might not have to come back next time to learn from it because they agreed to help you with that lesson. So
well, it depends on. There's always karma. There's the law of karma. So like somebody, like even Hitler, you know, he agreed on the soul level that the Second World War was a group soul lesson on the misuse of power. So somebody had to come in as the figurehead and take that role, but he still has to pay off the karma of putting all those.
So he does. So you do have to pay, even though you agreed.
You still got the karma, even though you agreed with it. So
you still have to balance.
It always has to be balanced. Yeah. Okay. So be very careful about what you do. This is what I say to people: clean up your mess now. Don't wait until you're over the other side and having to put it right. This is my deal. Like, there's no way I'm coming back here. So I'm making sure I go with a clean slate.
My husband reckons he's going to slap everybody when he crosses over. And I said, but then you'll connect to your higher self and you'll know why you came. He's like, no, I don't disagree. My council's full of it. I'm bitch slapping them all. And I want answers why I'm here on this stupid place. Like, he can't wait to go. So I think he would love a session with you.
So I was going to say, send him to me.
I've messaged him while we're talking to say, I'm
got to do this.
Excited. He can't wait. Because it was his idea to get you on the show because he was so loving.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's lovely.
So he'll be your first customer from this.
And that's the only reason I'm here, really, is to help others now, is to show them that I've done it, you can do it. To me, death is just going home. I have no
I can't wait to go home.
All.
But I got things to do.
But we signed up to see the earth into the ascension, and then we can go. Some of us, a lot of my friends left this year when we made that shift out of the shadow. I lost eight friends in the last year, all my age, just 70, to cancer, because they hadn't signed up for this part. They'd only signed up to hold the light through the shadow.
I've got a question. Yeah, sorry. I know we need to finish up soon. I'm so sorry. This question might be a bit rough.
I get talking.
On that, wonderful. You've been a wonderful guest. We've loved having you on. With this, we've all signed up. Feels kind of general. Are there some that aren't necessarily signed up and not against this shift and evolution? But there's some that maybe aren't necessarily participants in that are just here to visit.
No, everybody that's here is here with a purpose. You're either still trying to play the old game of power over, and they will not be here much longer. But everybody else is here with a purpose to help the shift.
So if you're listening to this, so anyone that's listening to this, if they are listening to it, they're also part of this. They're also got.
Well, likely is that they're here to help. If you're listening to this, you are one of the light workers. You are one of the staff.
Whether you're a psychic, you don't have to be doing their job. Yeah.
No. You're just walking around. This what comes when we go. When I do the Zoom classes, and we all go up to oneness, and then we come back. And when you're being your soul, there's no urgency to do anything. You realize all you have to do is be. And then when we ask the soul, how can I help the earth? It's just shine your light.
Wow.
That's the only job there is. Just shine your light. I mean, isn't that easy?
Should be, but
I can't think of a better way to finish this session.
Shine your light.
Well, thank you very much.
And you're all shy. You got all reflection and stuff happening on your own.
I know.
Really cool.
I'm getting rainbows.
Yeah, I love it.
So metaphysical.
Look, see that magenta light.
Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful.
It's me.
Good. It is. For a while.
There's all kinds of patterns in there.
My goodness.
Beautiful.
Anyway, thank you very much.
That was such a beautiful.
Yeah, you just laugh. Whatever happens, you just laugh. Because in the north of England, we say, if you didn't laugh, you'd weep.
Yes. That comes with the weather. That comes with
I know. That's why I live in California.
That's why you're in
I
California.
love California. I'm not going back to England.
That's my favorite. Sorry.
Big shout out to all our UK friends, by the way.
That's right. Exactly.
Thank you for staying in England and letting me go.
Yes, someone has to.
Yeah, my favorite piece of your advice is to stop taking life so seriously.
Absolutely.
It's
So
a
seriously.
school, it's a game, it's part of our story, and we've just we've chosen a body to experience. Just go with it and just keep shining your light. I love that. So thank you so much for shining your light on so many people and doing the amazing work you do for all of us, and now teaching others how to do it too. So definitely be checking your websites. If you'd love the healing with Charmian, please go check her out, because it sounds like such an extraordinary way of finding out where we come from. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bless
so wonderful
you.
spending time.
Blessings. Until the next time, hasta la vista.
Baby.
That's it for another episode. Thanks to our sponsor, Subtle Energy Sciences. Click the link in the show notes to access their full product range of quantum healing technology.
And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. We're so grateful for your contribution to keep this podcast going.
If you'd like to join our Patreon, you can receive bonus full episodes, early release, and monthly readings and meditations.
We love to hear from you, so please comment on our YouTube channel or email us at mickandthepsychic@gmail.com.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist and timeline regression therapist. If you wish to contact me to explore the source of an issue you're facing, just book a session at hernhypnosis.com and include the promo code MATP for 10% off. You can contact me on Insta and Facebook at hernhypnosis.
Check out my website at optimisticxavier.com.au if you feel you'd like to connect with me as a psychic medium, spiritual mentor, or intuitive coach. Include the promo code MATP for 10% discount. You can also find me on Insta, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
We look forward to connecting with you again next time as we attempt to leave no stone unturned.
Bye.
All right, cool. I reckon that should be okay.